What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sinceres here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for October 18, 2019's reset. So let's get right into this to see what we got good for this week. Okay, so for our first gear items, we're going to head over to Camp Hudson. And here the gear vendor has some operator gloves with the talent Savaged on there with a gear score of 263. The armor is 861. Its roll for stamina 1175. And the attributes we have is health on kill, crit hit chance, and pistol damage. And I'll mention this because I'm here. We have a prototype performance mod with 7% turret health. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the meat locker. And here the weapons vendor got the custom M870 MCS with a gear score of 271. It has 333% stagger, and the talents it has is vicious, destructive, and brutal. For our next gear items, we're going to head to the base of operations. And here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops pack with the talent Inventive on there with a gear score of 273. It has 1185 armor. Its roll for electronics 1269. And the attributes it has is skill power and disrupt resistance. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations, and the weapons vendor here has a M700 carbine with a gear score of 266. It has 157% headshot damage, and the talents it has is prepared, predatory, and elevated. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor, and here we have a military Scar H with a gear score of 269. It has 168% headshot damage, and the talents it has is ferocious, meticulous, and vicious. It might be cool for some PvE missions. And then also here we got a military MG5 with a gear score of 265. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents this one has is competent, capable, and predatory. And then also here we have a C79 scope with 18% crit hit damage, 2% accuracy, and 5.50% headshot damage. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a Cassidy with a gear score of 278. It has 318% stagger, and the talents it has is talented, vicious, and boomstick. Also here we got an enhanced AUG AP3 with a gear score of 264. It has 19% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is deadly, brutal, and ferocious. Also here we got a military Scar H with a gear score of 268. It has 156% headshot damage, and the talents this one has is commanding, vicious, and prepared. Also here we have a Spec Ops mask with the talent refreshed on there with a gear score of 273. The armor is 892. Its roll for stamina 1216, and the attributes it has is all resistance and blind death resistance. Also here we have a tactical vest with the talent rapid on there with a gear score of 274. The armor is 1965, and its roll for firearms 1117. And the attributes we have here is health, health on kill, and increased kill XP. Also here we got a tactical pack with the talent Relentless on there with a gear score of 261. It has 1151 armor. Its roll for stamina 1117, and the attributes it has is skill power and ammo capacity. Also here we got a prototype stamina mod with 266 stamina and 2,897 skill power. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 2% post crit hit chance. Also here we have a heavy magazine spring with 11.50% magazine size, 3% crit hit chance, and 10.20% rate of fire. Also here we got a 5.52 hollow sight with 7.50% crit hit chance, 2.50% stability, and 4% crit hit damage. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the cavern. And here the gear vendor has the Spec Ops pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 272. The armor is 1249. Its roll for firearms 1168. And the attributes it has is health and burn resistance. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to Camp Clinton. And here the special equipment vendor has a historian with a gear score of 276. It has 164% headshot damage, and the talents it has is brutal, vicious, and historian repeats. We also here have a liberator with a gear score of 270. It has 21% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is deadly, intense, and determined. Also here we have a police M4 with a gear score of 267. It has 20% enemy armor damage, And the talents it has is competent, brutal, and vicious. Also here we got an M870 Express with a gear score of 266. It has 344% stagger, and the talents it has is vicious, competent, and brutal. Also here we got a prototype stamina mod with 263 stamina and 3,236 skill power. Also here we have a heavy magazine spring with 4.50% reload speed, 4% crit hit damage, and 11.20% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to Wolves Den. In here, the weapons vendor has a classic RPK 74 with a gear score of 265. It has 21% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is skilled, vicious, and deadly. For our next gear items, we're going to head to Autumn's Hope. In here, the gear vendor has a prototype electronics mod with 263 electronics and 3% skill haste. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the Ward. And here the gear vendor has an operator pack with the talent inventive on there. It has a gear score of 270. The armor is 1263. Its roll for electronics 1127. And attributes it has is stability and burn resistance. And also here we have a prototype electronics mod with 262 electronics and 2,872 health. For our next gear items, we're going to head to the Firewall. And here the gear vendor has a Spec Ops pack with the talent inventive on there with a gear score of 280. The armor is 1296. Its roll for stamina 1221. And the attributes it has is stability and ammo capacity. And then also here we have a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid self-heal. And I almost skipped over it. We also here have a prototype electronics mod with 196 electronics and that 4% damage to elites. I know some people are looking out for these who love doing those PvE missions. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the Crypt. In here, the weapons vendor has a Super 90 with a gear score of 275. It has 295% stagger, and the talents it has is competent, adept, and predatory. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 34th Street checkpoint. In here, the Dark Zone vendor has a double barrel shotgun with a gear score of 270. It has 337% stagger, and the talents this has is competent, vicious, and fierce. Also here we got a gunslinger vest with the talent reckless on there with a gear score of 269. It has 1737 armor. Its roll for firearms 1270. And the attributes it has is skill haste, health on kill, and ammo capacity. And then also I mentioned it because I'm here, we got a prototype performance mod with 7.50% mobile cover health. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 42nd Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator pack with the talent relentless on there. It has a gear score of 269. It has 1238 armor. Its roll for firearms 1154. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and bleed resistance. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 46th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator vest with the talent vigorous on there with a gear score of 264. It has 1788 armor. Its roll for stamina 1170. And the attributes it has is health on kill, exotic damage resilience, and ammo capacity. And then also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7.50% support station duration. And we also got a 552 hollow sight with 7.50% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage, and 5.50% headshot damage. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to West 53rd Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical vest with the talent reckless on there with a gear score of 269. It has 1759 armor. Its roll for electronics 1250. And the attributes it has is skill haste, health on kill, and ammo capacity. And then also here we have a prototype stamina mod with 258 stamina and 3027 health. Then also I mentioned this one because I'm here. We have a vertical grip green with 49.50% optimal range, 4.50% reload speed, and 2.50% stability. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent enduring on there. It has a gear score of 274. The armor is 900. Its roll for stamina 1255. And the attributes it has is health on kill and disorient resistance. Also here we got a tactical pack with the talent specialized on there with a gear score of 271. The armor is 1183. Its roll for firearms 1241. and the attributes it has is skill power and bleed resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head to East 53rd Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has a military RPK 74M with a gear score of 269. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover. And the talents this one has is Adept, Vicious, and Sustain. Also here we have a Spec Ops mask with the talent Tenacious on there with a gear score of 266. It has 882 armor. Its roll for firearms 1192. And the attributes it has is health on kill and increased kill XP. Also here we got a prototype firearms mod with 253 firearms and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. In here the Dark Zone vendor has some gunslinger gloves with the talent Savaged on there with a gear score of 270. The armor is 912. Its roll for stamina 1214. And the attributes it has is assault rifle damage, crit hit damage, and skill haste. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 40th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has an enhanced PP19 with a gear score of 271. It has 19% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is competent, unforgiving, and hurried. Also here we got a Spec Ops armor with the talent Rapid on there with a gear score of 267. It has 1824 armor. Its roll for stamina 1161. And the attributes it has is enemy armor damage, exotic damage resilience, and increased kill XP. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 31st Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 265 firearms and 2,859 health. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to 5th Ave checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has an enhanced PP19 with a gear score of 264. It has 21.50% crit hit chance. And the talents it has is brutal, responsive, and hurried. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to DZ2 Safe Room. And here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical vest with the talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 265. It has 1877 armor. Its roll for electronics 1138. And the attributes it has is health on kill, health, and increased kill XP. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to DZ3 Safe Room. And here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has a Navy MP5N with a gear score of 259. It has 19% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is commanding, unforgiving, and fierce. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ8 Safe Room. The Dark Zone gear vendor here has a operator mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor is 946. Its roll for stamina 1123, and the attributes it has is enemy armor damage and blind death resistance. And also here we got an operator vest with the talent Reckless on there with a gear score of 270. The armor is 1822. Its roll for electronics 1260. And the attributes it has is skill haste, health, and increased kill XP. And then also here we got a tactical pack with the talent Specialized on there with a gear score of 269. The armor is 1173. Its roll for firearms 1235. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and bleed resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ9 Safe Room. And here the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has a large suppressor FDE with 19% crit hit damage, 2% accuracy, and 5.50% headshot damage. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video for October 18th, 2019's reset. I hope everybody who tuned in found them something that they needed. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all those likes. I appreciate it, y'all, and I'll see y'all with the next one. Take care. Peace.